Hi, everybody. I'm Sharon Waxman, the editor-in-chief of TheWrap, coming to you from TheWrap's virtual studio at the Sundance Film Festival. And I'm excited to speak to the director and the cast of Good Luck to You, Leo Grande, which is playing in the festival. And please join me in welcoming the writer and director, Sophie Hyde, and the stars of the movie, Emma Thompson and Daryl McCormack. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Amazing. Well, what a delightful film. What a fun, intimate, totally awkward, and like spot on performances and topic. Sophie, let me start with you. Let's tell people what the movie's about.
Sure. Yeah, it's about a woman who has led a, I guess, fairly conventional life and done things as she expects, or she feels like other people have expected her to do them. And then she hits a point where she decides to hire a sex worker so that she can experience what good sex is for the first time in her life. Mm-hmm. So the story is about Nancy, that woman, and Leo, who's the sex worker who comes in, and the experiences that they have together.
And so, Emma, of course, you play that woman, and who better to embody all of the difficulties that come with just honestly approaching aging and how our bodies are changing and our own sexuality. Talk a little bit about how you felt taking on this role. And I have a million questions for you always, because we've watched you, if I can say, we've watched you over decades bring yourself to the screen. And it's been wonderful to have an image of somebody who actually does not fight her age. You have aged with us on the screen. And I personally, as a woman of a certain age, appreciates that you've had the courage to put yourself out there, because it helps us connect with you as an actor and as your characters.
It's interesting, isn't it, that it's sort of regarded as courageous just to do the normal thing of just sort of getting older.
Yes, it is, but it is courageous.
It's strange, isn't it? But there it is, and I suppose therein lies the sort of essence of one of the essences, because there's so many essences in this film. That Nancy's someone who, as Soph says, has fitted herself into the woman-shaped boxes that are available to us all when we grow up and we come out of our childhoods, nice or nasty, whatever kind of childhoods they are, into the wider world, and we see what we're supposed to be, impossibly perfect bodies, good wives, loving mothers, but also able to run a business and cook, and all of the bit boxes, all of the things that we're supposed to be able to do, all of the bullshit that is thrown at us from very, very early on. And Nancy, of course, has had to live with that and has ticked an awful lot of those boxes very successfully. And then has, when her husband dies, the sense of emptiness inside her, the sense of a kind of unlived life, becomes so intense that she does something quite anarchic that's contrary to every tenet of her moral and emotional structure, really. And she hires this sex worker, it's something that she wants desperately, but that she finds very, very difficult to actually experience. And it's Leo, the sex worker, who gives her the tools, the skills, I suppose, that she needs to undertake this endeavor. He challenges and asks her questions that she doesn't expect to be asked. She has had all sorts of assumptions about this young man that are turned on their head. And in fact, they both have assumptions about one another that are constantly upturned. And so it is like seeing two people excavating one another. It's like watching sculptures appear. One person walks into the room, at the end of the film, two completely different people walk out. And that's what can happen between human beings if they allow themselves to be open with one another when there are not masks and games being played and roles being played and boxes being ticked.
Daryl, what was it like going toe to toe and other parts as well with Emma Thompson?
Yeah, I mean, extremely daunting, but an incredible privilege as well. And I think what was so particular about the film was that we both loved it, and we both were entering at it in a sense of just honoring what was captured in the script. So it's a question that's popped up so often, and I've been so privileged to share this film with Sophie and Emma. But
well, talk about the first day. I mean, the first day you were on set, I presume you didn't know Emma Thompson before this film, or did you know her before?
Of course I knew Emma. Yeah. No, I mean, I've grown up watching Emma and,
No,
yeah.
I mean personally know her. I didn't mean you know who she was.
No, we didn't, no.
So she's a stranger as a person to you.
Yes.
Of course, you know her work, of course.
Yeah.
So how do you sort of get yourself to a mental place of, I'm totally deserve to be here, and it's going to be...
Yeah, that was a process in itself.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. I think the day before we actually started shooting, I remember one particular moment where Sophie pulled me aside because we were kind of blocking the first day of our shoot for the following day. And I was struggling kind of to accept that I was meant to be there. I think it's easier to maybe say, accept that if the film involves a lot of other people, but there was something particular about this film that it is shared between two people. So it did take me some time. But again, I think it just came down to us being actors and artists trying to bring this script to life, and that we come from different walks of life. And that was what we were offering, and in some sense, we came in with like an equal, an equal foundation, which was incredibly surprising. But yeah.
But it's also to do with the writing, the parts often in film scripts, there's imbalances, but Katie Brand had written these two characters in the most extraordinarily balanced way. And I was saying earlier to somebody that I couldn't have played this earlier and Daryl couldn't play this later, that somehow these parts hit us at our ages, at our level of experience, not only as actors, but also as humans, at just the right moment in time. This doesn't always happen. It's just one of those things that, it was a very magical kind of meeting of minds and trajectories. It just doesn't happen very often like this, that Katie wrote something that was so right for the pair of us at that moment in time, that was so right for Sophie and Brian in their careers as well. It's just one of those strange magical things that happens sometimes.
It's beautiful, and there are actually more and more roles that I'm noticing for women, let's say over 40 or over 50. There's more roles. Certainly it used to be, I don't know, in the 90s, the aughts, we really didn't see very many, and certainly not a leading role, although you're co-leads, right, in this film. It does feel like there's more, right? Doesn't it?
I think so. I mean, I don't think it's, eye-wateringly more.
Right.
It's not kind of, oh my God, thank God.
Well, there was a time I remember thinking it's like Meryl. I used to think Meryl Streep's the only person who'd get cast. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, from my point of view anyway, but then I've always been a character actor, so I'm not having to let go of any sort of ideals of beauty or body that have, I think that can dog you actually. So from my point of view, I've done more interesting roles in my 60s than at any other time. I've only been in my 60s for a couple of years, so that's pretty good going.
Have you ever considered changing
brain surgery?
Yes. Surgery in general, just to try to it's your vessel, right? It's your
Why would you do that to yourself? I simply don't understand. I do honestly think that cutting a part of yourself off to put it in another place in order to avoid appearing to do what you're actually doing, which is aging, which is completely natural, is a form of collective psychosis. I really do think it's a very strange thing to do. I've always thought that, though. I mean, it's not something that, but I've always been a card-carrying kind of militant feminist when it comes to women's bodies and what's been done to them, what we're told to expect of ourselves, what we're told to do to ourselves. And I think that one of the great triumphs of this story in this film is that, it presents the untreated body for, one of those very rare moments. So let's see what happens.
I love the idea of collective psychosis. It is a tremendous amount of pressure on women actresses to keep up or to change, or it's so I do have to salute you for being you, staying you, because we recognize you on screen as you, as the person we knew. And by the way, we earned the wrinkles and everything with time. That there's wisdom that comes with that, I have found.
Yeah.
Sophie, did you like directing Emma Thompson and Daryl McCormack? How was that?
I mean,
she herself is a director, of course.
Like, so what? I mean, no, it's like it was pure delight. Like both of them, Emma's like, people keep asking Daryl what it's like to be working with them, but it's for all of us to watch somebody at the peak of their work, like the top of their game. To be part of that is always deeply thrilling, and to be working with someone that's so smart and intuitive about story, but also just excellent to work with, like just not an asshole is
that's always great,
and same thing with Daryl. Like, you were talking about Leo, and I think that Leo and Daryl share something, which is a compassion for the other people in the room and a compassion for themselves. And both of them have worked on how to professionally show up without all the shit that goes on in your head, to professionally step into a room and be there for the person opposite them. And to me, like having Daryl step into the role of Leo, we got to watch that, every day. Even Daryl saying that he was freaking out. He was freaking out. He was doing it. He was doing the work, just like Leo, I feel, would do to be able to show up for the person opposite him. So, I couldn't imagine two better people in this. Like, I feel like in awe and lucky.
Did you feel like you learned anything from the actors? Because directors are different in the way they work, and this is such a actor-focused piece.
Yes, I think every actor works differently, and one of the jobs for me as a director is to work out how an actor works and to help them do that. It's funny. You work with big stars sometimes, and Emma walks into the room so ready, more ready than anyone else on that set. Just like always on time, always knowing everything, knows everybody's names. These are things that just feel like they're normal, but they're not always normal. And you don't have to keep being consistently that generous to everybody sometimes, And I learned a lot about that, about how to do that part of things with grace, to not let the bullshit get you down, to just work towards what you're doing. Yeah.
And you shot this during the pandemic, yes?
We did, which meant we got to spend quite a lot of time together. And we were cut off from, the rest of the world. And, there was no distractions. We were very focused.
And so you shot it, was it in the UK? Is that in England?
We shot it in Norwich, in a studio in Norwich. And so we were there, all of us on school camp kind of vibe. Just going to work every day and working at night as well, because what else were we going to do?
Yeah.
And I feel like there was four of us, Emma, Daryl, and the cinematographer Brian and I. We just felt like we were investigating something the whole time, and watching these two people and how they play out this story was one of the great pleasures of my working life, for sure.
Yeah. Sounds pretty great. Emma, you talked about getting some of your most interesting roles now at this stage of your career. Can you talk a little bit about what else you'd like to do? What excites you? You want to still write? I know you write. Do you want to direct? Would you rather act? And not writing is hard. I mean, acting is hard. I guess it's all the good stuff is hard. What do you want to do? What do you want to be doing?
I always want to be doing whatever it is I'm doing, which I've found is a great gift. It's just nice to be happy wherever you are, because then you're released from, longing. At the moment, I'm engaged in making Nanny McPhee into a stage musical. So what I want to do at the moment is manage to get a really original, wonderfully anarchic and sort of dynamic piece of theatre ready for young people in particular, because I think that we owe children the best that we can give them, particularly now. So I'd love to make that happen. That's what I'm engaged in at the moment. So that's what I want to do.
That's really fantastic. And so acting is...
No, I won't be acting. I'm just writing.
You're just writing.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, we like seeing you do all of it, but it's a particular pleasure to see you on screen. That's absolutely for sure. Well, I think that's all I have time for, but thank you so much for joining us at our studio. Emma, Daryl, and Sophie, congratulations on your film. Good luck to you, Leo Grande, and we look forward to having a great Sundance.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us. Bye.